welcome to another lesson on the chapter Work, Life and Leisure. Today we are going to talk about the marginal groups and when a large population had come into London, what happened. Actually, in the previous video I had told you that London began the mass manufacture of many things, and so it accounted, the industries of London accounted for 1/3 of the jobs in the city. But gradually, as more of the industrial revolution came in and more of the instruments, more of the machines came in, people started losing their jobs. And what happened? The city of London became criminal flourished. That is, it became crime flourished. There were many criminals inside these cities. The short point is criminals grew with growth of city. And the long point is more than 20,000 people were employed in this business of stealing things and in the business of criminalizing. And many people were worried because of this. And the three main persons worried for these were the police. It was worried because law and order would be destroyed. So from this, I'm gonna make a small branch. Worried police for law and order. The three type of people that were worried because of the crime that was flourishing in London were the police, the philanthropists, and the industrialists. So first we're going to discuss about the police. How you're going to expand that point, the police. As we know that it is the duty of police to look after the law and order in the city. As the city was becoming crime flourished, the police was worried about the situation of law and order in the city. So this is how you're going to expand it. Then the second type of people who were worried were philanthropists. Why were they worried? They were worried because of public morality. So you'll write, as we already know that philanthropists are the people who work for the social upliftment of the society and the well-being of the society. These were also the people who were among the worried people when London was becoming crime flourished. This is because they were worried about the public morality. Then the third type of people were industrialists. So why were industrialists worried? Because they wanted orderly and hard-working labor. This is our short point. So I'm going to expand it. As we already know, industrialists are the people who work for the profit of their own company, and they were worried as if they employed criminals in their company, the company would bear great losses, and they were worried as they wanted orderly and hard-working people for employment. Then we're gonna know more about these criminals. Were these criminals really criminals, or were they made into criminals by because of the situation they were going through? So we're gonna go. They were poor who lived by stealing. So there were two types of criminals, the poors and the real criminals. First we're going to discuss about the poors. The poors did not have adequate jobs to live a decent life. So they lived by stealing things from other people. They used to steal clothes lying on the kept for drying. They used to steal breads from shops, and they used to steal so that they could live. And these deserving people, the deserving poor, were offered jobs by the government if they found these people stealing. And what happened with the real criminals? The real criminals were the people who were masters in the art of stealing, in the art of criminal activities. To curb their activities, authorities imposed high taxes on such people, and of course when they had to pay more, they stopped doing this. Then the second marginal group we are going to talk about is women. Women are very important in our society, as they are they can be the creators and the destroyers of our society. So they are a very important marginal group we are going to talk about. The first, when the London became the mass manufacture and all those opportunities of the job were coming, women were very largely employed in the industries. Okay, so I'm going to take a situation. For example, you have a factory. I'm a factory owner. Just suppose that I own a factory and I need 10,000 workers for the factory. And in my society, it is believed that a man is more stronger than a woman, and a man can work more than a woman. And I have 5,000 women employees, and I have 5,000 men employees. And then suddenly, because of the industrial revolution, I have very good machines coming in. So I have a machine that can do a work of 5,000 people. So going according to the norms of a society, what will I do? I will take away the jobs of the women. So that's why the women will be left without any jobs. Then they will be forced into their homes. They will have to do domestic labor, they will have to look after their house, and they will have a very great burden on their heads of, additionalizing the income of the family. So this was a very great problem the women were facing these days, those days, because of the industrial revolution. So the factories first employed them in large numbers, because London was growing and the demands of the people were growing, so they needed more employees, so they were employed suddenly in large numbers. Then what happened? With technological development, that means I got that machine which could do the work of 5,000 people. So with the technological development, they lost their jobs. Were forced into their homes, and they worked from home for earning. They had to supplement the earnings of their house, so they worked from home. So they started working from home. And here, how you can expand this is employed in large number. You'll say the demand of the people in London were growing, and during the First World War, London also began the mass manufacture of goods like electrical goods and the motor cars. So more of the employees were needed. That is why the women were employed in large numbers. Then how to expand this point with technological development? Because of the industrial revolution, there were advancements in the technologies, and new technologies came up. As a result, the women were the first one to lose their jobs. And the third is when the women lost their jobs from the industries, they had to supplement the income of their home. They had a burden of supplementing the income of their home, and so they started working from home. And what were the types of work they did? This is also gonna be a part of your long point. They worked as domestic workers in others' house. For example, I'm a rich person, I have 2 children, and you're a poor person, you also have 2 children. But you have a burden of supplementing. You're a woman and you cannot go outside to work in an industry. And I'm also a woman, but I have more of money, so I'm just gonna laze around and just enjoy my life. So what's the poor woman do? She's gonna come in the house of the rich woman and look after the children and work as a domestic laborer, so that she can supplement the income of her family. The second thing she could do is lodging her house. For example, if I have a house, I have a flat and there are 3 rooms in that. I can lodge a guest in one of the rooms, and I can get rent from him or her. So this can be lodging. And tailoring and washing clothes. So the woman could take clothes from other people, wash them or tailor them, or work as a tailor for making suits and other things. And so this could also supplement the income of a family. Some women also used to do multitasking. They used to do all of these things to supplement their income. Then, during wartime, they were again put up into their industries. So this trend came up into the 20th century. In 20th century, they were again employed in the wartime offices. So when there was a war, we needed more of the employees, and so the women came in. So from the 20th century, the women started gaining jobs as wartime officers. This can also be another way in which you put up your sentence. Then the very special, the very chubby, the children comes in. Children were pushed into low paid work by their parents. Of course, there was such poverty going on in London. There was such expansion, there was lack of accommodation, there was lack of sanitation in these areas. So that's why, to supplement, the main aim of a family was to supplement their income, to earn a hefty amount. So they could do anything for that. So they also started pushing up their children into low paid jobs. So I'm gonna expand it. As there was a great need of supplementing the income of a family and to earn a hefty amount. In this case of poverty, children were also pushed into low paid jobs by their parents. Then, children were preferably put into crime where they could earn more and faster. They were put into crime as well. So some people said a child could earn easily 10 shillings and 6 pence in a week by criminal activities, while to earn like that thief boy, a small 7-year child had to work very, very, very hard. He had to break all his bones for earning that much by working in the low paid industries. So they were put into crime preferably so that they could earn faster and they could earn more. Because children, as you know, are children, and they were easily forgiven by their elders. But I'm gonna give you an example. In this case, you have a very cute purse, and if a child steals it, what's gonna be your reaction? And if an adult steals it, what's gonna be your reaction? If a child steals it, you're gonna tell him it's not right. You are gonna, coax him. You're gonna tell him, no, don't do it from, the other times. And what you're gonna do with adult, you're gonna make a call to the police. So this was the difference, and that's why they were forgiven a little easily. That's why they were put into crime by their parents instead of in jobs sometime. And how did this all stopped? By the Compulsory Education Act. This Elementary Education Act said that the children who first had to, they could not be sent into industries or put into crime. They had to be educated at that time when they were small. They could not be forced to work. And the Factory Acts kept children out of the industries in 1870s and 1902. So I hope that this topic of marginal group is quite clear to you. And if you want to know more about this chapter, you gotta see my other videos. That is on housing.